are common mistakes that candidates have a tendency to make in the IELTS reading section?
Most common mistakes would be not following instructions. You know, if you're answering no more than 2 words, no more than 3 words. That's a very common mistake, just using too many words. Capitalization, so if it's a town name, for example, London, and not using a capital L, that's going to get a mismark there. Time management is definitely a mistake. I often hear feedback from candidates that they simply ran out of time. So coming back to the advice earlier, making sure that they're well aware of how long an hour is by doing practice tests during a 1-hour sitting and seeing if they can finish on time or not. Being incredibly careful with answer transfer. That is, you can make all of the notes you want on the question booklet, but make your answer sheet as clear and as easy to read as possible. I think here is also a huge mistake, is candidates will often just jump straight into heavily reading the reading with no use of skimming or scanning skills. By actually going and looking at questions first, skimming and scanning and finding the key words that they're going to find paraphrased within the main text. That should save them time. By skimming to get the general idea and then scanning, but really focusing down on key bits of information from the questions, maybe a proper noun like a name or a date or a number that they could be able to find more quickly when they're scanning the reading text. So yeah, don't jump straight into just reading all of the reading. That's going to cause quite a lot of wasted time.
How can a candidate get Band 8 in IELTS reading?
Well, I'm going to say something quite obvious here. They would generally need to be around a Band 8 proficiency as a candidate. If a candidate goes in and they are aware that they are about a Band 6, it will be very difficult for them to achieve a Band 8. So to bring up your overall proficiency to approximately a Band 8 across skills is one way. Second way, to do lots of reading outside of IELTS, to become quite happy with reading in English. That's not always reading academic journals. That could be just reading storybooks and newspapers, magazines, online articles. But to become very comfortable with reading, that would also increase the words per minute that a candidate can actually scan and skim. That will also help. Vocabulary, with the Band 8, you're going to have to be aware of a wide range of vocabulary across all different word forms and in its different grammar sets. Now, for a Band 8, really a candidate is going to have to be familiar with most of the language, but also have strategies on how to cope with unknown keywords. It does happen in a lot of reading tests. Irrespective of a student's knowledge, there will be unknown vocabulary. Again, that's where things like using grammatical knowledge, looking at the word in the context of the sentence and the sentence before and after. Also, the grammar surrounding the word will allow a candidate to know what type of word. Is it a noun or a verb, for example? And things like prefixes and suffixes, that's useful for candidates to focus on if they're looking for those higher band scores. Again, it helps aid with more unknown vocabulary. Having a wider range of prefixes and suffixes does allow a candidate to guess the meaning of a word more effectively than if they didn't have that knowledge.